Hello again, everybody. This is Kerry with the weekly look ahead for November 9th through the 15th. I'm a Vedic astrologer based in Colorado. I hope these are helpful for you. If you like seeing these, let me know. I'm going to keep doing them anyway, so. All right. I don't like to get dramatic and I don't like to make hard predictions. But looking ahead at the upcoming week, I'm just like, my theme for this video is turnabout is fair play. And I'm saying that because we have a lot of retrograde motion coming up at us. And it feels like things are setting up to take something that's been going this way and then turn it around and go that way. And I think it's going to start this week. I don't love making public predictions about things, but people always ask me what I think about things, and I'll tell them on the side. So my friend asked me at the beginning of October, when the United States government shut down, if I thought it was going to open on October 15th or 18th. And I said, no, neither of those. I don't think that at all. My thing to him was, I think it's going to open on like November 11th or 12th. Sadly, that's a long time for our government to be shut, but it is still. So let's see. Now I have a public prediction out there. We'll see if I'm right, if it's going to be this week. I hope so. Anywho, with all of the reversal energy that's coming from all of the retrograde motion, seems like a good guess. So there's that. All right. So the main thing is, by the end of this week, by Wednesday, really, we'll have 3 retrograde planets. Right now, already we have Saturn. The underlines on my charts show you that a planet is retrograde. So Saturn's retrograde. Mercury's going retrograde on the 9th. And Jupiter's going retrograde on the 11th. And weirdly, they're all 3 in water signs. And the way Jupiter works is he is aspecting all of the water signs. So in a way, Jupiter being in Cancer just for a little bit longer is tying together tightly all of the water signs. So we'll have Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter all retrograde in Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Not for very long, honestly, because the 27th of November, Saturn will go direct again. So we have a couple weeks here of this. I feels like a churn to me. It feels like something really stirring things up. So let's see what happens. I'm actually putting this video out early for you this week because retrograde Mercury is starting, and I'm giving you a heads up because sometimes havoc is created when there's a lot of retrograde energy, and especially with Mercury, who rules things like telephones and computers and data and communications. It's nice to have all of your ducks in a row that way. Make sure everything's backed up. That's important, and etc. So, and with Mercury being next to Mars, kind of gives me some, maybe include your car as well. Things with engines and motors that are important to your working. Okay. So there's that. All right. So this is what we're seeing here is Sunday, the 9th of November. This day, you can see there Mercury at 12:39. Today, on Sunday sometime, it will go retrograde, Mercury. So when I flip you to the next morning, you're going to see that underline under Mercury. So that will put 2 guys in retrograde motion. I also want you to notice the how close Mercury and Mars are degree-wise, because once Mercury starts moving backwards toward Mars, they're gonna smash up against each other, and that's a thing called planetary war. That'll happen this week too. So, which I think it adds to that whole turnabout is fair play theme that I am pushing. So, hold on, I'm getting my notes out here. Yeah, so the moon on Sunday, the day that Mercury goes retrograde, is up there in Gemini, specifically in Ardra Nakshatra. Ardra is ruled by Rahu and tends to give intense energy and unstable energy. So as Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is going retrograde, we also have the moon in Ardra in Gemini. That seems like it's the beginning of this kind of week that we're going to have. So there we go. Let's see, Monday. On Monday, you can see that the moon has gone over into Cancer, which is the moon's own sign. That's always lovely. And it's with Jupiter. Jupiter and loves being in Cancer. The moon loves being in Cancer. And perhaps Monday could feel like, oh, something is possible, but let's not latch on too hard because that Mercury is retrograde still, Saturn's retrograde. But moon and Jupiter together, despite all of that, can give you some clarity and guidance. And even though the moon is waning at the moment, it's moving toward the sun in the zodiac, meaning it's going toward the new moon, it's still pretty bright. Still pretty bright, and with Jupiter, it's a positive vibe. So that's good. And let's move to Tuesday. All right, we've got Mercury is fully in retrograde. You see him down there at 12 degrees something. The moon is still in Cancer in the nakshatra called Pushya, which is a very auspicious nakshatra. So again, I hope I'm not scaring you about the week coming up. But it does seem like the first couple days of the week, there may be the feeling of, well, everything's falling apart, but it does seem like there are positive side effects of all of that. So keep that in mind. So that's Tuesday. And again, Mercury's getting really close to Mars as it's going backwards. Let's go to Wednesday. You can see the moon's gone over into Leo. So for the next Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday, we're going to have the moon in the zone with Ketu. Ketu is the south node of the moon. We picture him as a headless body. The idea of Ketu is that it can block things. It can cause blockages or obstacles, especially in the material realm. So physical things, but on a spiritual level, it's a booster. It shoots you up. So when you keep seeing roadblocks in front of you, it could be the universe trying to shift you to a different direction. And anytime the moon is with Ketu, it can be hard to keep yourself on track because Ketu tends to cause us to want to look in other directions and find solutions for things that are blocking us, which could be great. Mercury's retrograde. Look how close the degrees are up there with Mercury and Mars. So on this day, I'm not showing you the calculation, but there's a thing called Shadbal, and it's a strength of the planets calculation. So war. Planetary war is when two planets are occupying the same degree. The sun and the moon and the nodes, Rahu and Ketu, they don't really play war, but the other 5 planets do. So when Mercury and Mars are that close, it's like they're struggling to express. And honestly, Mars is stronger right there because it's in its own sign. But because of this intense, complicated calculation, as it turns out on Wednesday, Mercury smashes Mars. Like Mars's strength is very low as Mercury's grinding past him in the zodiac. So that's interesting. That's kind of why I'm picking Wednesday, Tuesday maybe, but Wednesday as a day to watch for, with Mars representing power in general and aggression, and Mercury representing markets and money. Let's all look at that. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the US right now. So I just see Wednesday as being a day. It seems like something could happen. Oh, I forgot to mention that Tuesday, look at Jupiter up there, the JP, it's got the underline. So on the 11th, between the 11th and 12th, depending on where you are, Jupiter also joins in that retrograde, which is the last click for me of, hey, let's get this churn going in another way. So yeah, let me know what happens on Wednesday for you, maybe. All right, Thursday. Oh, the other thing is Wednesday and Thursday, the moon starts the day, each day in the same nakshatra. So it's kind of lingering or slowing down right there. So both Wednesday and Thursday, the moon starts the day in Magha nakshatra, and Magha is ruled by Ketu. You can see that Ketu is there in Leo with the moon. And talking about obstacles and talking about moon and waning moon, it can be a feeling of hopelessness sometimes when the moon is with Ketu. Like, I don't know how to get through this. I don't know how to get around it. The other step past that is you have the mind to be able to solve a puzzle or a problem. So we all might be collectively feeling that as the week sort of finishes up, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with the moon very close to Ketu. So there is that. See all the underlines up there? Now everything is going in the retrograde motion in the water signs. It does feel like a churn. So if you're finding a lot of reversals that happen this week, like, oh, somebody asked me to do this and then they retracted, or this was an opportunity and now it's gone. Could be because of all that Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde and Saturn retrograde. All right, so Friday, you can see that the moon has gotten really close to Ketu on that day. And we'll remember that anybody by Ketu is going to get the wind of Rahu. So by the end of this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with the moon really clinging to Ketu, it could be puzzling. Like, why are these things happening? And etc. Okay, this is Friday. Friday is Venus's day, so I'm going to bring up Venus again. I in my monthly forecast, I forgot to write about Venus in the Libra. Weirdly, I mentioned it in other sections, and I mentioned it last week, but I forgot to write the whole section, so I added that in case you're wondering. Venus is going to be in her own sign of Libra from November 2nd through the 25th. And that was like pretty good news that I didn't mention. I feel like it's good news, especially with regards to social things and relationships. It might not be easy or pretty, given the fact that Rahu, who can make things unstable and chaotic, is aspecting Libra. So the more Venus gets toward the end of the Libra, the more that Rahu is going to come in. On a positive level, I feel like it's very, like you could come up with some amazing creative ideas during this time. So get out your sketchbook and start sketching. So yeah, Friday, we've got the Sun and Venus together. You can see that the Sun getting later into Libra. It's actually going to move into Scorpio on Sunday, the 16th. So all this week, we have that Sun-Venus combination, which can result in struggles between trying to have everybody be happy and trying to have yourself also be happy, and finding the balance between what you sacrifice and how your diplomatic efforts go. So that could be an underneath part of this whole week with all the churning, etc. Moon is up there really close to Ketu by Friday. You can see the degrees. So yes, there it is. And there we go. I'm going to put us until Saturday. So Saturday, moon shoots over into Virgo. Could be a relief. Great day off. All the retrogrades still going. You can see that Sun is about to jump. And again, I look at big pictures too and big patterns, like all of the planets are sort of over here on on this side, but then we still have that Saturn Rahu in the upper left corner. So it seems like two groupings. Um, Again, I'm going to bring it up. There's a lot of planets in the nakshatras ruled by Jupiter. Nakshatras are the lunar mansions, the smaller slices of the zodiac. The moon moves through one of those per day. And each of them has its own symbols and its own deities that is associated, and that's a planet that's associated. So the Jupiter associated nakshatras stretch between an air sign and a water sign. So between Gemini and Cancer is Punarvasu. Between Libra and Scorpio is Vishaka. And between Aquarius and Pisces is Purvabhadra. So all three of those are ruled by Jupiter. Saturn's in Purva. Rahu is too. The Sun and Venus are in Vishaka. And Jupiter itself is in Punarvasu. So interesting. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, we know that Jupiter's general plan is to help us grow, to expand, to find goodness, to find divinity. It's a positive, helpful planet. And with the retrograde of Jupiter happening, while all these other planets are in those Jupiter-associated zones, it just seems like there's a big shift going on underneath everything. And I'm not just talking about the politics of my country. On a specific level for you, it could be a deep dive in the sense of trying to find your track, trying to find your direction. And my suggestion is, with this retrograde energy of Jupiter that's starting now, and it's going to go until March of 2026, it could be an indication that we need to recalibrate or remap our direction. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. All right, that's the week ahead. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please let me know how it goes for you, and I'll be back with you again next week. And there are those other videos I was talking about. I will do them, I promise, I promise. I had a visitor and it was too fun. So, all right, thanks. Take care. Bye.